Hi students, this is the part 3 of the question paper from microbiology April 2019. So we have discussed long essays, short essays and short notes, and in this video we will discuss about answer briefly and difference between. So there are 3 answer briefly questions which carries 4 marks, that is MMR, post exposure prophylaxis after a needle stick injury, and falciparum malaria. So what is MMR? It's a triple vaccine. As you all know, it is against the infectious diseases like mumps, measles and rubella. Rubella is otherwise called German measles. The history of MMR, it was developed by Maurice Hellman and was first introduced in 1960, and it showed full effectiveness towards all these 3 diseases. It is a live attenuated vaccine, 0.5 ml dose subcutaneous given as a for the baby. So the schedule, immunization schedule as per India, it is first dose 9th month, second dose 12 to 15th month, and booster dose to be given between 4 to 6 years. It is contraindicated in some people like pregnant mother, allergic, has if the patient has tuberculosis, having symptoms of cold or flu, and if they got any live vaccine within 4 weeks, and immunocompromised patients. So it means it is contraindicated if the patient has any kind of infection. Why? Because it's a live attenuated vaccine. It may trigger infection. You are not supposed to take the vaccine when you are having an infection in your body. So these are all the things comes under the MMR. The next question, that is post prophylaxis exposure in a needle stick injury. So it is, what is the definition of post exposure prophylaxis? It is a comprehensive management to minimize the risk of infection following a potential exposure to blood-borne infection. So it is comprehensive management against, to minimize the infection against the potential exposure of blood-borne infections. What are all those blood-borne infections? Are HIV, HBV and HCV. There are few steps which is taken as a post-prophylaxis exposure. You have to list down the steps, and if possible you have to explain under each heading some points. The first is first aid. So once the needle stick injury exposure happens, you should immediately wash your hands, squeeze out the blood and wash it with soap and water. Report immediately. You have to make an incident report to your higher authority. Risk assessment should be done in the source as well as the person who got injury. Check for significant injury. If there is injury or no injury, but you have to check for the source, whether patient has any infection or unknown. With the consent, if the patient is unknown, then you have to check the exposed person and the source with the viral status. So you have to do HIV, HBsAg and HCV for both the exposed person and the source person. Check source for viral infection. Check exposed person for viral antibodies for HBV. So if it is hepatitis B, you have to check for the antibodies. If it is present, it's fine. Otherwise they have to be given with a hepatitis B vaccination. For HIV post exposure prophylaxis, antiretroviral drugs has to be started prophylactically. So these are all the basic things we do during the prophylaxis exposure in a needle stick injury person. So you can write all these points and you can write it for a 4 marks. The next is falciparum malaria. Malaria is a vector-borne febrile disease caused by malarial parasite. The disease caused by Plasmodium species. So there are different types of Plasmodium species, and this Plasmodium falciparum is infected by female Anopheles mosquito, which is a severe form of malaria. So what is Plasmodium falciparum? It is a unicellular protozoan parasite. The parasite is transmitted through bite of a female Anopheles mosquito, causing the disease most dangerous form. So this falciparum malaria is the most dangerous form of malaria, responsible for around 50% of cases. Falciparum is regarded as deadliest parasite in the humans. So it is one of the severe form of malaria. If you see the morphology of Plasmodium falciparum, it does not have a fixed structure. The shape is spindle shaped sporozoite of around 10 to 15 micro-m long, and it has elongated crescent shape. With this only they easily identify it in the microscope whether it is a falciparum or oval. Oval will have oval shape, and this Plasmodium falciparum has a crescent shape. The life cycle of malaria: the infectious mosquito bites and the sporozoites enters into the human body, and it get multiplied in the liver, and it is passed on to the RBCs, and inside the RBCs they get matured and they breaks up and release more parasites. So this is how it is transmitted. Very quickly it get transmitted from liver to the blood. So pathogenesis, if we see, the most of the patient experience fever, chills, headache, sweating, dizziness, malaise, muscle pain, abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting. Sometimes patient may have mild diarrhea and cough. So the stages of this pathogenesis is divided into cold stage, hot stage, sweating stage. This comes in cycles within 48 hours. So every 48 hours or 24 to 48 hours, this stages will come and go. So the cold stage, patient will stay in cold stage for 15 minutes to 1 hour, and they move on to hot stage, that is 40 to 41 degrees Celsius, and it will last for 8 hours. So the patient will be in febrile state for almost 8 hours, and patient will sweat out all the fever, and this is called sweating stage. So pathogenesis, you can write like generalized weakness, fever, headache. Other than that, patient will have stages like cold stage, hot stage and sweating stage. What is the diagnosis? Of course, as we said, it with the crescent shaped Plasmodium falciparum can be seen in microscopic blood film. Rapid diagnostic tests are available on PCR tests also available. The treatment for falciparum is IV. If it is severe, usually we start with an IV medications, and then we will change it to oral once the patient is stabilized. IV artesunate, that is quinine drugs, chloroquine drugs are given. IV artesunate 60 mg, 2.4 mg per kg on admission, and followed by 2.4 mg per kg for 12 hours and 24 hours, and then slowly they will reduce it like once daily for 7 days. IV quinine loading dose should be given 7 mg salt per kg for 1 hour, and then 10 mg per kg over 4 hours, and then Q8 hourly. After stabilization, this IV can be changed into an oral drug regime like quinines, mefloquine and chloroquine are given for the treatment of falciparum. Next we will move on to difference between. This is also as same like answer briefly. 3 questions carrying 4 marks. So we'll see the difference between active and passive immunity. This I have given in my immunity video where how to differentiate the active and passive immunity. Active immunity, it is produced due to contact with pathogen or antigen, whereas passive immunity is produced due to antibodies obtained directly. Active immunity lasts for a longer time, whereas passive immunity stays for a few days or fewer time comparing to the active. Antibodies are produced by the body, whereas here antibodies are obtained from the other source. Immunity is not immediate, but it stays for a longer time, whereas here in passive immunity it develops immediately. There is no side effects in active immunity, but there is possibility of hypersensitivity reaction in passive immunity. The person is exposed to the agent, here the person is not exposed to the agent and given directly the antibiotic. So these are all the difference between, at least 4 points you should write. The next is immunoglobulin, IgM and IgG. So what is the difference between IgG and IgM? IgG is a monomer structured immunoglobulin, whereas IgM is pentamer structured immunoglobulin. IgG is a long lasting, whereas IgM is temporary, and IgG produced during later stage of the immune response, whereas IgM is produced in the earlier stage of the immune response. IgG is smaller in size, IgM is larger in size. IgG cross the placental barrier. So the mother, if she has the IgG, the baby also, the fetus also will get the IgG, whereas IgM cannot cross the placental barrier. IgG found in all body tissues, whereas IgM found only in blood and lymph. Most abundant type of immunoglobulin is IgG, whereas it is comparatively less with the IgG. So the IgM is less comparing to IgG, whereas IgG is the most abundant immunoglobulin. So whenever you write difference between, remember at least you should write the definition and some examples, okay, and try to write with the column, so it will be more effective. The next is oral polio and injectable polio. We can say it as Salk and Sabin polio. So Salk polio is an injectable polio. It is developed by Jonas Salk, and the oral polio is developed by Albert Sabin. So we can say the injectable polio is otherwise called as Salk vaccine, and oral polio is Sabin vaccine. Inoculation of dead polio virus is seen in the injectable polio, whereas oral polio, inoculation of attenuated live viruses is seen. So injectable has dead polio virus, oral has attenuated live virus. It is administered as injection, whereas this oral polio is administered as oral. Complete dose includes satisfactory immune response. 1 or 2 doses of oral vaccine gives 90 to 100% results. So comparing to the oral polio, the injectable polio are more satisfactory. The injectable polio produces systemic antibody response, whereas oral polio gives a local immunity in gut. So these are all the difference between oral polio and injectable polio vaccine. So we have seen the answer briefly session and the difference between. So finally we are finishing with that question paper. We will see you with another question paper. Thank you.